the leader and you're not being confident and concise and true and authentic, then how does anyone that work with you, how are they able to provide that? How are they able to resonate with that? How are they going to respect you and help you get the work done that you need to get done? So make sure you and your top leadership are in sync and performing as you should. I really wanted to hit that because number one, a lot of these things that you do, you can actually express on social media. And number two, these are the top reasons that businesses fail. And I don't want you to be in that failure. Remember, I want to ignite your identity. I want you to see your greatest successes. I want you to not have failures. We want to get away from that side of things. So let's go back to some online marketing tips. Hang on a second. Let me get back there. Again, Jeopardy music in play here. Da 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 da. So let's see. So let's actually, we talked about digital marketing trends. We've talked about online marketing tips. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes and the reason why you're here, correct? So let's start with Instagram, because remember when we were talking about the way we are prioritizing? So Instagram to me is number one because it's the number one growing social media platform. I'm going to write this down. And Instagram, as you guys all know, is picture-based. You can do videos, but your videos need to be 1 minute or less. So again, this is for quick ways to remind your client who you are, what you do, and why. My best advice to you is kind of do a pyramid so that you have Instagram, and I'm going to explain this. Let me write it out for you first. Facebook, LinkedIn. A great way to tell your story is to do a snippet on Instagram. So let's just use the example of you sell firewood. I'm using this really out of the blue. So you sell firewood. That is your job. You sell it year round, right? Might be a little difficult in the summer, but you have bonfires. So what you want to do on your Instagram is maybe take a picture of a really beautiful bonfire and show that picture with people like around it, most roasting marshmallows. Then you could even do a 1 minute video of just the crackling of the fire, get people interested. Now you go to Facebook, you're going to expand on that story. So now you can talk about how you're a home-based family business. You've been in business for 20 years and you provide the best firewood that's out there. You deliver it to people. So you can kind of expand a little bit more on your Facebook and tell your story a little bit more. Then you're going to go to LinkedIn, which is business oriented. And you're going to talk about the statistics of how many people are making bonfires during the summer. And you're going to put in maybe a good article about small family-owned businesses and how, you know, the statistics of their success are doing. Or you want to put in that you've been in business for 20 years and these are your tips for success. So do you see how we've kind of altered the content based on the platform? That's really important. So number one, know your audience. Number two, know what platform you're on. So those are really, really important so that you can expand out. So let's talk a little bit more about Instagram as I erase this stuff. Hang on just a second. You can tell I like my whiteboard. So we're going to talk about some marketing strategies related to Instagram. So let me pull that up. Hang on just a moment. Continue to do your da-da-da-da. I really wish I had music for you. It'd make it better. I have so many, the thing is I have so many amazing articles and things I want to share with you, but I'm not the best at organizing them. I never said organization was one of my top traits, just for the record. Well, let me pull the Instagram one up. It's going to take just a second to get to. Here we go. So we're going to talk about Instagram marketing strategies. So the first one is your profile. This is really important. So go ahead on your phone, because again, everyone does their social media through their phone. Go ahead and pull up your Instagram profile. So on your Instagram profile, you're going to have your user company name as your username. And I know that sounds maybe like intuitive, but I can't tell you how many companies, like, I don't know, I'm going to use an example. Like, let's say they're called Blue Ribbon Photography, and then their Instagram is just called Blue Ribbon. What happens is everybody has heard SEO, or hopefully has. That means search engine optimization. If you're not being consistent with your brand, you're losing your search engine optimization. So that's why you want to use your company name as your username, because then when someone types in with Google, because everybody uses Google or Bing or one of those search bars, you're going to have all of that pull up. You should have your Facebook page pull up. You should have your Instagram pull up. You should have all of that kind of line up so that whoever's researching you can get all the information about you. So that seems like it's intuitive, but I can't tell you how many people I see don't do that. You definitely want to include your URL in your bio. The only place in your URL is your website, like your www website. That is the only place that you can have a clickable link, is in your bio. Now you can write a link in your comments when you post on Instagram, but it isn't a link that will click. It'll just be like they would have to copy and paste it in. And most people aren't going to take the time to do that. So make sure you have your URL in your bio. Very, very, very important. You want to be able to take the traffic from your Instagram and encourage them to go to your website to make their purchase, to convert to a client, to get to know you better. Ultimately, you want to get them, you want to control how your traffic is flowing. Make sure you concisely describe your business. I would say use bullet points. You can use like a little star as a choice, or a little, you know, any kind of, you can even use emojis. Ironically, emojis are great. I know that now, again, let's start with go back to knowing your clientele. If your clientele is older, let's say 45 and above, stay away from emojis and just use a bullet point or a star. If your clientele is 45 and below, emojis are great. And you have a huge list of emojis you can use. So they actually have a little flame. So I could create a little flame and then say that I am, you know, an executive brand consultant and a social media strategist. Use it to about 3 bullet points. So total, you want to have 3 bullet points that concisely describe what your business does. So I'll write that down for you. Do not make it more than 4 or 5 words per bullet point. Very, very concise. The next thing in your profile is use keywords in your bio. This goes back to that search engine optimization. Brand consultant, image consultant, social media strategist. That's what I use. Anybody can type those words in and they will find me. You really need to use keywords. So again, don't get lost in making a huge bio with tons and tons of words. Use words that are going to drill down really easy into a Google search. If you are not sure if your word is a Google search, Google it. If you are, I'm trying to think, again, let's go back to the guy that sells firewood. So if he says year-round firewood salesman, get your fresh firewood here, delivered firewood to your door. You notice how he's using firewood? I don't know, there's probably a better word for it. I'm just trying to give an example. But if somebody Googles firewood, they're going to see his stuff come up because he's using a word that would be Googleable. That's not a word, I don't think, Googleable. But you know what I mean. The next thing is show personality. So again, that's where those emojis can come in to show personality. Using your description can show your personality. Have fun with it. But again, know your demographic. If your demographic, for me, I am, because I want to still keep a professional demeanor because I do seminars on image consulting and getting hired and brand consulting, and I want to have a little bit more professionalism to it. I really don't go crazy with jokes or silliness, even though I am a really silly person. But for someone like my friend that has the blue hair, that is a life coach and a business coach, she really wants her personality to shine through. So she's probably going to have, I haven't looked at her profile, but she's probably going to have something like stunningly amazing business coach and, you know, your go-to girl next door, something like that that's got a little bit more personality injected into it, because her demographic is going to be younger. And again, they're going to be a little bit more edgy and they're going to be a little bit more hip, if we want to use that word. But again, know your demographic, know which words are going to be really searchable, and use those for your bio. Make sure your main picture is either a headshot, a professional headshot, unless you have someone that works in the industry. And I can't even tell you how many people are like, oh, my friend's a photographer, and then the headshot is not good. Invest in a good headshot. Like, this is sort of like getting your LLC. It's important. It's the thing that everybody is going to get to know you as. It is the face of your company. So either use your logo or your headshot as the main piece of your profile when you have like your profile pic. I cannot express to you how much a good headshot is worth. It is worth the money to invest in. And a logo too. I know we all think we're creative and we all think we can do an easy logo, but if your logo is not strong and succinct and is not something that stands out, I would definitely look at your logo and look at maybe redoing it. And this is where someone like myself would come in, or even ask friends, family, things like that. You constantly want to be evolving. So the other thing too is, if you haven't rebranded yourself in more than 5 years, you really want to rebrand yourself. Every company does it. Madonna does it. I mean, you have to be able to be continually growing. So if you've had the same logo for 30 years, unless that logo is something your clients recognize when they're flipping through pages of logos, maybe you update it. And you know what? That can also be a great way to boost more interest in your company and to gain more of a demographic. So those are things to think about. But make sure, again, your profile picture, and I'll write this down because it's very important. Your profile picture is either your logo or a headshot. This is super important. Because this is going to be, this picture that you use is going to be the same picture that you're going to use on Facebook and the same picture you're going to use on LinkedIn. So you want that continuous look. You want it to look, I can't remember the word, sorry, but you want to continue, you want to take that look and you want to have it be the same on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. Continuity, that's the word I was looking for. You want continuity in everything that you're doing. And that's why I stress the importance of a really good headshot or a really strong logo that will catch people's eye, because you're going to use this over and over and over again. So it's worth the money to invest in. The next thing is we have keep your bio updated. So as things change, as maybe you add more services, as maybe you find that you're calling your niches in one service versus another, update that profile, change that, keep people engaged and interested. So then we're going to talk about photos. So take and edit photos using an app. My favorite app, we've already gone over this stuff, so I'm going to delete this. I think there's a couple great apps that are out there that are good for photos. My favorite one is actually Canva, and I will write that out. So you can go to www.canva.com. And that one's great because if you look at it, you can actually pick which social media platform you're going to be posting on, and it has the exact picture size and dimensions. So it'll say like Facebook picture, Twitter post, Instagram post, LinkedIn post, every social media platform you could come up with. It even has a place for flyers. It has a place for thank you notes. So you could really create a branded look with this. Canva is great because you can take a picture, you can upload it, and then you can take your logo and put it on the picture, and then you've created a branded product. So you really want, it also has great filters. It also has great pre-made templates. A lot of their templates are free, so then you're not having to pay for the service. So I highly recommend that. Take a day. I mean, I could do literally a class on just Canva, which we might do. But definitely check out Canva. The other one is PicMonkey. I would suggest PicMonkey if you are a little bit more advanced and you kind of understand graphics a little better, or if you're a graphic designer, PicMonkey is a little bit more in tune with that. But for a basic person, I think Canva is more user-friendly. PicMonkey has more properties and more resources, but again, it's geared more at someone that's like a graphic designer or someone that really understands graphics. So it might be a little over your head if you're just kind of getting started with this. So make your pictures unique, brand them with your logo, use certain filters. That's another thing. So I'm sure everybody knows about filters on Instagram, but if you don't, when you post a picture, you have a choice of about 12 filters, and they all change the picture color slightly. Sometimes it's a little bluer, sometimes it's a little pinker, sometimes the contrast is brighter, sometimes it's darker. Find out, like, so for instance, I'm going to use my Redhead Wears Pink. So I have a social media persona. It's a public figure persona called Redhead Wears Pink. And I do that for like my beauty blogs and just my regular information. You can look it up on Instagram, Redhead Wears Pink. I have a YouTube channel, Redhead Wears Pink, Facebook page, Redhead Wears Pink. You guys are getting this, right? And so with Redhead Wears Pink, I always use Mayfair, and the Mayfair filter has a pink tint to it. So it's literally like you're looking through rose-colored glasses. So every picture I post always has that Mayfair filter over it, so that it always has that pink. So it continues to remain, like, have a continuity to all of the pictures that are posted. So no matter what I post, it has a little tint of pink to it. So it's going back to that Redhead Wears Pink. So if you're a technology company, I would say you want to have your pictures very, very crisp. If you are a family-oriented company, you might want to have them a little softer. So again, look at your branding colors, look at what's going to look good for you. But that's what makes good Instagram feeds. You always see those feeds where like everything just matches perfectly and is done really well. That's because they're using tools like Canva, and they're using tools like filters to make sure that all of their pictures look the same. This is really, really important because again, you don't want just a jumble of random pictures. You want your pictures and your content on Instagram to be very focused. And we'll get into that too. So the next thing is be careful of importing your photos. Sometimes apps will crop photos funny. So again, this is why it's important to maybe post on your phone, so you're seeing that the picture that you want is actually correct and gonna fit into that space correctly. Put a face to your company. A great way that you can use Instagram is to maybe once a week feature an employee, or once a week feature something that you're doing. Show your workspace, show your desk, show books that you're reading, show projects that you're working on. Anything that kind of shows sort of a like behind the scenes, but still keeping you professional. Do not show a messy space. Do not show like, you know, stuff everywhere and say, hey, I'm working on 15 projects at the same time. No, you want to be very, very careful about your content and showing that you're always the best company. Show product images. That's a great one. Show happy clients and customers. Show you giving them the product. Show you actually doing, you know, whatever it is you're doing, have pictures of you doing that. We're going to spend much more time on hashtags, because hashtags is something I'm really passionate about. But just carefully, for Instagram, we're going to go over hashtags. We're going to revisit this, but create and use a brand hashtag. So that should be your slogan and your brand. So for instance, mine for Jay Keegan, which is who sponsors this. This is my company, Jay Keegan. So for Jay Keegan, my Instagram name is j.keegan. My hashtags I use are Jay Keegan. And then I use my logo, my slogan, which is Ignite Your Identity. So you want to use the name of your company and you want to use your slogan. Okay, so those are the first two hashtags that you want to use. Then you want to use a trending hashtag. And we'll go over those more when it gets into hashtags, but an example that everyone knows is hashtag Motivational Monday, where you do a motivational quote on Monday, hashtag Motivational Monday, because people are searching for that, and it's a huge trending hashtag. So, you know, for that day specifically, you would do a trending hashtag, like example, hashtag Motivational Monday. And we'll talk about that more in hashtags. Can't spell Monday. There you go. So that would be your third hashtag. Then, oh, hang on. Let's see. define and use hashtags for events. So for this one specifically, it's hashtag SocialJump2018. So when you post about how you went to this awesome social media class, you're going to post hashtag SocialJump2018. The next thing you want to talk about is you can tag only your own post. I don't know if you know that. I really say you want to tag do about 5 hashtags. Instagram is the one that you can use the most hashtags on. I'm going to write that out for you. So Instagram, you can use the most. And I would say between 5 and 10. I like to keep it closer in 5 because after a while it just gets to be too much. It gets overwhelming, like hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag this. Another super secret ninja trick that you can do is you can write your comment of your photo. So like, let's say it's Motivational Monday, and you have a quote and you could say, Teddy Roosevelt says it best. And then the next comment, you could put your hashtags in. So you could do it that way so that then your hashtags are not the first thing people see. Or what I like to do is put the comment and then do the hashtags as bullet points. So for instance, if I was doing a post, I'm going to show you what my hashtags would look like. Because again, I'm pretty small on my hashtags. I think you should use them wisely. Because what a hashtag does, if you don't know, a hashtag is linking to search engines. So a hashtag is a way to create search engine optimization. So it is important. It is important across all platforms. There will be some people that disagree with me on that, but the research that I have seen proves that. So let's say I'm doing Motivational Monday for my Instagram post. So my Instagram post has a picture, has a cute quote, and then underneath it, it's going to say hashtag J Keegan, which is the name of my company. It's going to say hashtag Ignite Your Identity, which is my slogan. It's going to say hashtag Social Media Strategist, which is something people would search for and is Google relatable. It's going to say Executive Brand Consultant, which is what I do, and is also Googleable. It's going to say Executive Image Consultant. And then the last thing is going to be the theme one, which would be hashtag Motivational Monday. So I've kept it to about 5 hashtags. Again, when you're doing hashtags, about 5 to 10 is my recommendation for Instagram. Some people say up to 30, but I don't even have the time to come up with 30, so to each his own. But definitely you want about 5 on your Instagram, and you want to make it relevant content. So we'll get into some popular hashtags when we talk about hashtags for you. Let me clean this up for just a second. We'll keep going. Hopefully you guys are learning a lot and taking a lot of notes. I did make this based on someone that has little to no knowledge of social media. So if you need if you have questions or you want to go a little bit more in depth, I'm always here to talk to you about that as well. So mentions, this is really great. So mentions are tags. So first of all, let me just explain. Hashtag is that pound sign. When you tag someone, it's the @ sign. When you tag someone, you want to mention usernames. This is a great place to mention raving fans, to mention people that are like you, mention links to users' profiles. What this does is it increases audience engagement. So let's say you have a raving fan that you know follows you, and you know they love Teddy Roosevelt, and your quote today from Motivational Monday was from Teddy Roosevelt. Well, let's tag them. Tag Teddy Lover 321 and write, I know you'll love this. Because what that's doing is you're creating engagement. So you might not know your audience at first, people that are following you, but get to know them and use that @ sign. Anytime, let's say you're featuring a happy client that bought your product, make sure you get their information for their profile so that now you're featuring them. Because what that does is it shows up in their profile, and they can choose to share it with other people. It's also, again, increasing that user engagement, and it shows appreciation. Mention your staff. If you have staff with you, get all their Instagram information. So-and-so Jack Smith did a great job today. We're so proud of him. Thank you so much. That is going to give, again, it's showing appreciation. It's creating that engagement. And use your mentions and your tags in your comments in the same place you would with your hashtags. So let's say you write your title. Then I would do your tagging, so your @ symbol so-and-so, and then at the end I would do hashtags all in a row so that they're like bullet points. Try to keep your post as clean as possible. Like I said, the other option is you could just do the title, and then your second comment could be the hashtags and the tagging. Add your follow button to other profiles. The more engagement you can get across different platforms, the better. So again, like we were talking about in your email, have a place where it has your little Instagram symbol and people can follow you. Have that Instagram information, your Facebook information, your LinkedIn information on your business card. And again, you want to try to keep it the same, so you can just put the logos down and then put where to find it. So like for instance, on my business card, it can have the Instagram logo, which we all know is a little camera, the Facebook logo, which is an F, and the LinkedIn profile, which is LI. And then underneath it could just say J Keegan. And then that means they can follow me on each one of these platforms very, very easily, and it's not taking up a lot of space on that business card. So make sure you're integrating that and you're moving that to try to get as much following as possible, to build your following organically and to try to really get people involved. So again, like we talked about, add your Instagram name to your marketing material. Use Instagram to link to other content. You can repurpose your Instagram images. So I would take that Motivational Monday quote, and then I would maybe change the filtering a little bit on your Facebook, and now you can use it for Facebook as well. Or you could use it for LinkedIn. So there's ways that you can repurpose. Like we were talking about that story earlier where you have the quick story on Instagram, then the bigger story on Facebook, and then finally the full content on LinkedIn. So again, the videos are, you have 1 minute or less. You want to trim your video length. You want to use an app to record the video. So when so you have two options on Instagram. You can go live now on Instagram, which means whatever you're saying it right then and there, and people are seeing it. Or you can create a small video, which will go in your grid that you post. Now, the Instagram Live does not go in your grid. What it will do is it'll show up in your story, and I think your story lasts for an hour. I'll double check the timing on that. But it doesn't, you don't have any record of your live on Instagram. So once you've done your live is just to create interaction in that moment. So lives are great for grand openings. Lives are great for revealing a new product. Lives are great for when you want to make an announcement or you want to talk about a sale. But the videos, if you want to make a video about your content, like we go back to the fire guy that sells firewood and he has a fire burning for his video, that one you want to keep under a minute and you're going to put it in your grid and you're going to post it. Same thing with your hashtags, all that good stuff. Does that make sense between the difference between a live and a regular